Namaste friends, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you are. I'm your astrologer friend Rajiv Nath, back with you with another interesting video. This is a video, regarding marriage, denial of marriage, delayed marriage, or an unsuccessful marriage. There's a very thin line which distinguishes a delayed marriage from denial of marriage and an unsuccessful marriage. And especially, in natal astrology, since I practice both, I practice KP as well as Vedic. So, especially the subject of marriage, I have found through my experience that while KP is very accurate, but without when you are taking very sensitive and important decisions regarding marriage, especially denial of marriage or a very delayed marriage or a very unsuccessful marriage. Through KP, if you're judging a chart just from the KP principles, it is always very advisable, to judge the chart before giving a verdict regarding, say, a denial of marriage. It is always very advisable to judge it through Vedic astrology also, as I feel, that when it comes to the subject of marriage, especially, the principles and the tenets of Vedic astrology are very accurate. They give very good results. And I dare say that better than KP. I dare say. Not that, I am a big believer that KP astrology, when it comes to horary, it is unparalleled absolutely. But where it comes, as far as natal astrology goes, I think both KP as well as Vedic are at par. So that is why I urge all my students and all my acquaintances who are interested in astrology never to undermine Vedic astrology, and always they should know both. You should know Vedic as well as KP because they both complement each other. So I'm highlighting. I'm presenting an example wherein you will see how both complement each other and help you take a final call or a final decision on what the prediction should be. So I've made a small presentation as I always do, and I'm going to share the screen with you and explain to you, and try and explain to you in detail. Try and make the video as short as possible. So here we go. I'm sharing the screen. Okay, see, as you can see from the heading, denial of marriage dash KP versus Vedic. This is a chart of a girl born September 1980. She still remains unmarried despite having crossed the age of 40. Okay, still remains unmarried. Now this first I'm going to analyze this chart through Vedic. Okay, now here is the chart. This is a computer generated chart, and here are the planetary positions, the cuspal positions, and the housewise significators. Now let us see for marriage in KP, as you all know, that first of all we have to see the seventh sublord to see whether marriage is promised or not promised. Okay, so the seventh sublord, as you can see from this table, is Venus. Now Venus, we'll see the stellar significations first. What are the stellar significations of Venus? We'll see from this table. See, Venus signifies the sixth house very strongly. It is the only significator of the sixth house. So it has a complete sway on the sixth house. And what is the sixth house? Sixth house is denial of marriage, since it negates the seventh house. But Venus also signifies the seventh house, which promises marriage. Then what does Venus signify? It signifies the 10th house very strongly. 10th house is another denial of marriage. And it signifies the 10th house again at the sea level. Okay, so not much of importance to be given to the sea level. But so now let's see the notes that I have written for Venus. Okay, now seventh sublord is Venus. Venus signifies sixth, seventh, 10th very strongly, and 11th somewhat strongly. 11th here, Venus, I have forgotten to fence it off. Venus also signifies 11th at the D level. Okay, so Venus signifies 6th, 7th, 10th very strongly, and 11th somewhat strongly at the stellar level. While 7th and 11th promise marriage, 6th and 10th deny the same very strongly. The sublord. So now what do we, so far, you as an astrologer, you are confused whether marriage is promised or not. It appears to be promised, but then it could be delayed, especially as Venus is the overall karaka for marriage also. It could be delayed, it could be denied, it could be an unsuccessful marriage. So this is the three things that, come to your mind straight away. Okay. Now, who's the final decider? The sublord of Venus is Mercury, which signifies 12th very strongly. If you can see here, Mercury signifies 12th very strongly. 10th at the B level and D level. All these significations are not supportive of marriage. So the sublord of the seventh sublord, that is the sublord of Venus, which is the seventh sublord, is Mercury, which signifies 12th, which is a separating house, okay, and 10th, which is a denying house. So overall, we can sort of come to a conclusion that, marriage may be delayed or even denied. Just because the seventh sublord signifies seventh, it does, in isolation, it promises marriage. But since it is the sole significator of the sixth house, and the only and the very strong significator of this, marriage could be denied also. So Venus, and then again, now this is Venus at the stellar level. Now Venus is also the untenanted. Venus is untenanted. That means there are no planets in the star of Venus. Venus is also the untenanted cuspal sublord. This year you can see here. Okay. Venus is also the untenanted cuspal sublord of first house, fifth house, sixth house, seventh house, and 12th house, and signifies all these houses very strongly. First, sixth, 12th are not supportive of marriage. First negates second, so it is not supportive of marriage. Sixth, of course, we all know it is the most negating house, okay, sixth house. And 12th house are not supportive, while seventh is supportive. It is my experience, this is my experience, that when seventh sublord signifies marriage giving houses, but at the same time also signifies marriage negating houses, especially the sixth very strongly. Now I'll explain this to you. Especially the sixth very strongly, marriage is either delayed, denied, or if it takes place, is bound to be unsuccessful. What do I mean by this? I mean that, if the seventh sublord is signifying seventh, but at the same time also sixth very strongly, then there is a possible of marriage denial. Had it been, had it not been signifying sixth, had it been, say, suppose it was signifying the first house and the 10th house, not the sixth house. First and 10th are also marriage denial houses. Marriage would not have been denied, but since here it is signifying the sixth house and that also in full strength, there is every possibility that marriage could be denied or very inordinately delayed. Or if forced into a marriage, the marriage could be very unsuccessful. This is my personal experience from so many charts that I have examined. Okay. So the girl is 40 and remains unmarried. The aspect of Saturn on the seventh house also does not help in any horoscope. Okay, the aspect of Saturn on the marriage giving houses, especially in the seventh house, is not helpful. As Saturn is the planet for delay oblique denial. Okay, now look, this I have explained. Okay, so just because the seventh sublord signifies seventh and marriage giving houses, but you just can't jump to the and especially if it is at the same time signifying the sixth house, in particular the sixth house very strongly, there is a possibility that marriage may be denied or overly or extraordinarily inordinately delayed and may be a very unsuccessful. But chances are that denial may take place. It is also our experience, look here in red, I've written this in red. It is also our experience that in the case of delayed denial of marriage, the principles of Vedic astrology are found to be very accurate. Before giving a verdict through KP, it is advisable to scrutinize the chart through Vedic rules also. This is very important, and I have analyzed this chart before I gave the verdict through the principles of Vedic astrology also, which I have discussed here. See now, this is the same chart, same cuspal table, same chart, same cuspal table, same planetary position. This is analysis through Vedic rules. Now, what are the Vedic rules? Vedic rules, if you are conversant with Vedic astrology, then the significator or the prime determinant for marriage in any given horoscope is the lord of the seventh house primarily if it contains a Mool Trikona Rashi. If it does not contain a Mool Trikona Rashi, then the responsibility for marriage shifts to the lord of the second house containing a Mool Trikona Rashi. Here, neither seventh is containing a Mool Trikona Rashi, neither second. Then after that, to the fourth house with a Mool Trikona Rashi. Fourth house also does not contain a Mool Trikona Rashi. Then to the eighth house with the Mool Trikona Rashi. So here the eighth house contains a Mool Trikona Rashi, which is Cancer. And the lord of this Mool Trikona Rashi, Moon, becomes the prime determinant or the prime significator, if you're a KP love enthusiast only, prime significator for marriage. So now let us study, where is Moon? Now Moon in this chart is primarily responsible, according to the tenets and principles of Vedic astrology, to give marriage. So where is Moon now? Look, on the left is the Rasi chart for analysis through Vedic. The prime determinant for marriage in this horoscope is Moon as Lord of the 8th house. It has gone to the 12th house, an inauspicious or a Dishtasthana. It has gone to the 12th house. It is in debilitation. This is a very, very serious shortcoming for denial of marriage. Okay. The significator for the prime significator for marriage becoming debilitated. And it is in old age. It is 27 degrees, so it is in old age, thus making it extremely weak. Plus, it has the aspect of Rahu also, the fifth aspect of Rahu, which we take in Vedic astrology, also on it. So, Moon is virtually powerless to give marriage. It becomes virtually powerless. Now, if the prime determinant for marriage becomes extremely weak, as is the case here, and is also debilitated, marriage is delayed, mostly denied, or could result in early death of the spouse if it is forced to materialize without resorting to remedial measures. ठीक है? Remedial measures करने के बाद आप कर सकते हैं, but वो भी advisable नहीं होता है in such cases. Moon for Sagittarius is also the most malefic planet, being lord of the 8th house. It is also afflicted by the aspect of Rahu I have just discussed. Saturn is combust, okay, by Sun. Combust, and its aspect to the 7th house has not helped either. Jupiter in Vedic astrology in any girl's horoscope is the Karaka for husband. Jupiter, the Karaka for husband in a female horoscope, is in old age and is further weakened by the extreme infancy of its dispositor, the Sun. Dispositor, the sun. Okay, its dispositor sun is sitting here in the 10th house at 1 degree, so it is in infancy. So that weakens Jupiter. Venus, the general significator for marriage, has gone to the Dushtthana, that is the 8th house. Now let us study the Navamsha also. For marriage, we study the Navamsha also. In Navamsha, if there is a Mool Trikona Rashi in the ascendant, the Lord of the ascendant of the Navamsha becomes an additional significator for marriage. In the Navamsha, Mars as ascendant Lord becomes another additional determinant for marriage, but is weakened by going to the 12th house. Mars is in 12th house in the Navamsha. Moon, the prime determinant for marriage in the main Rashi chart here, is also in the 12th house in the Navansha, so becomes extremely weak. It was already extremely weak, so is further weakened in Navamsha by sitting in the 12th house. This chart, by Vedic rules, was a non-starter for marriage. This girl did not get married, and she will not get married. So what I mean to say is, you have, if you are a KP enthusiast, I keep telling all my students that you are an incomplete astrologer if you do not know both Vedic as well as KP. तो दोनों सीखिए, वैदिक भी सीखिए और कृष्णमूर्ति पद्धति भी सीखिए. कृष्णमूर्ति पद्धति की बहुत बड़ी स्ट्रेंथ उनके प्रश्न में, होरेरी में है, नेटल में भी है. जैसा आपने देखा होगा, नेटल से भी आप प्रेडिक्ट कर सकते हैं, बट उसमें लकीर का फकीर हम नहीं बन सकते हैं. सेवेंथ हाउस सबलॉर्ड, इफ इट सिग्निफाइज एनी 2, 7, 11, तो शादी होगी होगी ऐसा नहीं होता है. You have to see, कितना कितना strong signification किस हाउस का है. फिर सबलॉर्ड क्या दिखा रहा है इसका यहाँ पर. Let's come back to it. Venus, sublord of the 7th house, is not supported by its sublord in turn, which is Mercury, which is not supporting any of the marriage giving houses. So that adds to the weakness of the 7th sublord Venus. So that was it. I hope you have understood what I have tried to convey to you. दोनों पढ़िए, केपी भी पढ़िए और वैदिक भी पढ़िए, अगर if you want to be a good successful astrologer. Thank you very much for watching, and your feedback as always is welcome. You are not subscribing to my channel. बहुत कम subscriptions अभी तक मुझे मिले हैं. Please request है, subscribe कीजिए, watch my channel, give me your feedback. Please ask your friends also who are interested in astrology to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day, and bye and